What's going on, Southern Folks Saga? This is Von Wolf with another edition of the Weekly Wolf Bite. Actually, I'm not even sure if I'd say that because now I'm actually kind of popping them out pretty quickly. Like, I've gotten some things pre-recorded and whatnot. But we'll stick with the whole Weekly Wolf Bite thing just because. Also, you'll probably get a good understanding of just about how much time I spend on the road, because most of these podcasts that I've been recording are on the road or in a parking lot or wherever else it might be, but it's in my vehicle every single time. So this one's a little bit off subject from the 9 Noble Virtues that I'm doing. I wanted to talk a little bit about tribe. Now, the first thing I need you to understand is I'm not an expert on this. I would say I'm an expert on anything, but I'm willing to go out there and give it a shot, you know? Okay, so before we get into that, just to give y'all a heads up, Tumbleweed Kindred in Texas has got something going on, I believe, for St. Patty's Day or in that area. Y'all can find Tumbleweed on Facebook. All right, again, that's Tumbleweed Kindred. They should have an event listing. Also want to give a little shout out to Dale Thorson. Y'all make sure to look him up on Facebook. He is a blacksmith, and he is, he's on point, okay? He's got his own little page set up also, where he sells his knives, axes, swords, whatever it is that he's making. And, you know, honestly, you can catch him in a bunch of live feeds, actually, you know, making these things in real time in his forge. Really cool stuff. So y'all swing by there and check him out, give him a shout. All right, so tribe. I'm not going to be using any literal definitions because I am driving, but I had this hankering to talk about it. See, in my own life, there's 3 things that I focus on. Number one is going to be me and my family. That's, my wife and my daughter or kids or whoever. That's my most personal aspect of any kind of community. Then outside of that, I have, a kindred or a tribe. All right, so that's like family as well. It's just obviously we don't live in the same house. All right, but we're a very close-knit group of individuals who have a mindset that's almost exactly alike. We know each other, we trust each other, and we can trust within our group of people, right, our kindred, our tribe, to always have our backs, do the right thing, again, make a good example of who we are. And right past that, you have the larger aspect of the community, right, of heathens or again, whatever label people want to throw on that, that's what you have outside of your kindred and tribe. And while I say this, there still are exceptions in some areas as far as, we have a tribe over here, Thunder Oak, and I have some really close friends outside of our tribe who I would consider to be in that tribe lining, right? They're not literally in Thunder Oak, but they're still those kind of people who I trust to that extent. Those are the kind of people, again, outside of a tribe or kindred, that I would trust, to be around my family, or to, let's say I'm out of town and my family needs help with something, whatever it might be. Those are still people outside of my tribe that I'd be willing to trust to say, hey, can you do me a huge favor? Go check on my wife and daughter, see what's going on, whatever it might be. And I know that they got my back, and I know that they're not going to do anything stupid. Now, someone who's not used to these terms might say, why is a quote-unquote tribe or kindred important? We just call those close friends, right? Well, yes and no. Again, everybody who's in Thunder Oak over here where I'm at, we're close friends. But again, there's, with a kindred or a tribe, there's set standards. It's not just like, yeah, that's my boy down the road, man, we cool, we grew up together. It's more than that. See, within a tribe, everybody has their own place as far as what they might be responsible for. If you've ever been in the military, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Everybody in a squad has their own little position whenever clearing a room or a building, right? You have your point guy, you have each person in that line that's not, stacked up against a building. They all have their own little responsibility. They're doing the same thing, they're on the same team, but they have their own, I wouldn't say job duty, but again, their own responsibilities, their own strengths that they need to focus in on in order to help the tribe as a whole. And it's really important once you have your tribe together that, you know, those strengths are identified, right, within that tribe. Each person has their own thing, and it's really important to identify that, so that way you can move forward with whatever, you know, needs to be done within that tribe. And also, while I say that, just to give anybody else, again, who's not used to these kind of terms, a better understanding, tribe and kindred are a whole lot alike, and people have different opinions on this or different views. But how I would define the two, and any kind of difference, would be that, you know, tribe is, again, a really close-knit group of people. Kindred is oathed. You know, and we all know that oaths are a huge thing in our lives. So a tribe is more like, I guess you could define it like a job. You know, you have different people and you're growing closer and whatnot, and then everybody kind of has their own little duties that they do to make sure that the goal, whatever it is they're trying to reach or do, is accomplished and achieved. But sometimes, you know, people decide to quit, right, or find somewhere else to go, whatever it might be. And in more of a, I guess you say, again, kindred situation, people are oathed, right? So if I have, let's say, 100 people in a tribe, and then we have off, you know, set to the side a kindred, we might only have 5 kindred members. And as I talk about this, I don't mean to get too deep, because I don't want to lose people who might be listening, just getting confused as shit out there. But you know, it's viewed differently, I guess, in some spots, as far as, you know, where you might go, or what, again, group or organization or whoever it might be, wherever they might be at, they might view it a little bit differently. But again, this is from my own personal take on things. And be prepared that, you know, if you ever do kind of get to the whole tribal or kindred thing, that you basically are an outsider until you prove to everybody that you're trustworthy and you have, you know, some kind of skill set that's going to benefit everybody in that group or everybody as a whole. Now, again, you know, why is it important to identify these 3 groups? Well, the first thing you got to realize is that you and your family are number 1, right? Your children, your wife, or, you know, if you're a female, your husband, whatever it might be, your parents. That family, that literal family, is going to be number 1, right? You, yourself, and your family. So you can't help your family if you can't help yourself. You can't help your tribe if you can't help yourself or your family. You can't help the larger community or whatever else, you know, however else you might view that, until you can help yourself, your family, and your tribe or kindred, wherever, you know, if that's part of your thing. But it all starts with you. You know, we all have an amazing view on life right now. You know, we all have this more, I guess, to make it more generic or basic, you know, this worldview of us, true. You know, it's special. It really is. I don't mean to make it sound like a rainbow or some shit, but, you know, it really is. And I did a little bit, I mean, not much, but a little bit of time as a folk builder, or an apprentice folk builder. And I've had the opportunity to speak to a lot of different folks out there. I mean, a lot of them. Right? And everybody has that story about how they, you know, got into Asatru. And there has never been one story that was like, oh, you know, well, life was perfect, and, you know, here comes, you know, Asatru, and I learned a little bit about it, and then, you know, just jumped right in. This has all saved us in some manner. Right? There's been a point in time where we were lost, just going. I mean, we didn't, something was wrong. I mean, to be honest. And something happened in us, something changed. And when that happens, that's, you know it. You know, it's an amazing feeling. But one of the toughest lessons that I've learned, that I've learned, so this is rough, I'm trying to pay attention and record, but one of the roughest lessons that I've learned is that I'm accountable, you know. I'm accountable for my actions. If I suck at taking care of myself, you know, it's gonna be my fault if my family suffers, because I'm not doing what I should be doing for myself. You know, if I'm a shitty person to myself, I don't take care of myself, I don't find a good job, if I don't work hard, if I don't, you know, make money, whatever it might be. But, you know, I'm not gonna benefit anyone else. Right? In the same note there, you know, I'm not gonna benefit being in a tribe if I can't do the basic duties of, you know, again, taking care of myself and making money and taking care of my family. I'm not gonna benefit any larger organization or the community at large if I don't take care of myself. And the first step to getting there is admitting that you're responsible for yourself. The victim card goes way too hard these days. Everybody wants to be the victim, and I personally don't understand why. I work with a lot of people currently, and I also work with the public on another hand, and it's just crazy to, you know, see roughly a few thousand people every day, and 90% of them have an issue and it's someone else's fault. I can't imagine their lives. You know, I really can't. How is everything someone else's fault? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So to jump back into the tribe thing, you know, if y'all have any questions, comments, anything that you'd like to share about it, you know, please do so. If it's something you feel like you need to share in a private message, do that. Send it to our Facebook page. Whatever might work for you, okay? Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. And always remember, never ever be influenced, but always be inspired. And speaking of that, someone recently asked me, what do I mean when I say that? What I mean is that don't let the world tell you who you are or who you're going to be. Don't let all the things on social media or the news or whatever else it is out there, or somebody negative, you know, influence you on what you're going to be. Be inspired by what's going on to do something great. All right, folks, thanks again for tuning in. Catch y'all next time. Another little side notation here. We are getting some interviews set up for Southern Folk Saga. So if you have anybody specifically you'd like to hear interviewed on here, again, let us know. Shoot us a message, you know, comment on something, whatever it is, all right? Thanks so much, folks.